Hi, and welcome to the section Reading JSON Data with Asynchronous Programming. In this section, we will help you to understand how to make an asynchronous application with all the sugar Node.js provides for us. We will show you how to use the file system API by reading a file. This will explain more in depth the asynchronous way of programming in Node.js. You will learn how to work with promises. And at the end of this section, we will see how asynchronous functions or async functions will work. Welcome to the first video of this section, Reading Asynchronously. In this video, we will learn how to program asynchronously within Node.js. First of all, we will read a file synchronously, and after that, we will read a file with callbacks asynchronously. This will allow us to see how you can shift from a synchronous way to an asynchronous way. In computer programming, a callback is any executable code that is passed as an argument to other code, which is expected to call back, execute the argument at a given time. This execution may be immediate, as in a synchronous callback, or it may happen at a later time as in an asynchronous callback. In all cases, the intention is to specify a function or subroutine as an identity. And this is an example of synchronous programming, of course. You will see that in Node, in the API of Node, when you have an asynchronous API, you will have the extra sync at the end of the method. Now let me show you how to read a file synchronously and asynchronously. So first of all, I'm going to create a JavaScript file, file.js, and here I'm going to define constant fs. I'm going to require file system API of Node. And I'm going to define try catch, because when we read a file, something can happen, right? Can have an error. But in Node, before this all create, so we can see anything because we don't print anything to the console. So we need to add some console logging to our application. So I put here console log before reading. Then I add here console.log after reading. Then I put here console.log for content. When I execute this results in the following result. So we have before reading, then we have our content, and then we have after reading. Now we need to transform this into an asynchronous function. We can do that by removing the sync keyword of our read file method. And then here we need to add a callback function with a parameter error and a parameter data. When an error occurred, we need to return and leave our function. And then we can print out content of our file. So when we execute this, we get the following result. We have before reading, then we have console log undefined, because our content is undefined. After reading, and then at the end, we have console.log data. I can also remove console.log. I can also remove here content. I can execute it again, and we get the following results. Before reading, after reading, and then at the end, we have our content of our file. So you see that it's non-blocking, and then whenever we have read, entire file, we print something out to the terminal. That's awesome, right? Now let us integrate this in our server.js code. We actually used already some synchronous programming. When we listen to a port and a hostname, we need to provide callback. So we already came across synchronous programming in the previous video. Also, in our testing code, we came across synchronous code. Remember the done function? So we need to require our file system API again here in our server.js file. So at the top, we define and here at the end, we need to read our file first. So we do fs read file. We will read charging underscore locations .json. That's an UTF-8 file. That's the encoding of the file. Then we have callback function. I'm using here an arrow function. Just a short notation for a function in JavaScript. And then I put here our server.listen code into the callback for file system.read file code. Of course, I also need to add an if error. So when an error occurs, we need to return and stop our program. So in charging locations.json, we have a data file with meta and with some locations. This file is a data file from the internet. It's an open data file from all charging locations. So find a lot of data here, but okay. That doesn't matter so much. So first of all, we will define here at the top a variable serving underscore data. And then here we will have serving underscore data equals data. Data is a string, so we need to convert our string to JSON with parse method of json.parse. This is really important. Then of course we need to return the correct data in our handlers. So here we will have serving underscore data dot data. Here we will have serving underscore data dot data, the first element of that. And here we will have indeed serving data dot data and then the second element. Nice. We also need to adapt our last line because array underscore stations doesn't exist anymore. We need to change it to serving underscore data dot data. Indeed. Great. When we now execute this with node server, it will read our file and it will launch our server. Can now go to localhost 3000, and this results in the following outcome. We have a lot of data here, and that's from our charging locations.json file that we read in, and we provide it via this API to you. So now we can serve to /first, get the first result, and we can also go to /second, and we have the second result. Great. In this video we saw how to read a file synchronously with callbacks.